well, here's something totally different for us. So I've got my sidekick Dale along. How are you, Dale?
Good, thanks, Howard.
Mate, so as you know, I went up Saturday up to Windsor,
Yes.
on the Hawkesbury, to take in the blown boats. Now, as you know, and a lot of people that follow probably know, is that my family used to race boats.
Yes, big into
My
them.
dad and my brother. And, you know, I grew up around speedboats, and it's one of those things where it's a bit like going to the sprint cars. I'm going to go and do that, that. So I took the time to take, Heather and myself went up and stayed at St Mary's.
Okay.
And then, as you can see, there was some unbelievable boats up there.
It's, yeah, some serious horsepower.
And what you're looking at there is what they call a blown alcohol displacement boat.
Okay.
So it's an inboard. Mm-hmm. And they had 15 blown boats at the event.
Wow.
And then they run through a series of heats over 2 days. It was a 3-day event, but the Friday was, I think, practice and qualifying and stuff, and then went into, so I was there on the Saturday. And I've tried to do this where I'm not trying to give you all the races, but to actually be able to show you just some of the atmosphere and what goes on with all these unbelievable machines. Now, all of these blown boats were part of a really big field, and we're going to see some of the other boats, but mainly in the pits.
Yep.
Because they have like a 6-litre class, they have some speed regulated classes, they have some outboard boats as well.
Yep.
But I went there to film blown boats.
The big boats, the big boys.
So these guys, the ones we're looking at there now, Fury, that's like a, they're all pretty much big block Chev based.
Yep.
And that's run on a traditional supercharger and a hat. And then the one over the back, the grey one's a twin turbo.
Okay.
And the fourth one there, I can't quite see which one that is, but they're all pretty much big block Chevs.
If you had your earphones, Howard, you would have needed them, sure.
No, I was taking it all in. I was far enough away.
Oh, that's good.
But the sound in the, like, you know, I've been to the drags, and I've been to supercars, and I've been to all the things, and I mean, it's hard to beat nitro funny car, nitro top fuel. But to see 4 of these out there together, and when they're leaving now and going directly away from you, so these are all making about 2,000 horsepower each.
Wow. Yep.
So they're heading up now to the warm-up area, and we've just got a couple of clips here of some of them cornering, and then in a minute we'll go in and actually look at some of the races. So like I said, it's on the Hawkesbury, so it's a straight up and back around the boys. And I didn't realise that late in the day on the Saturday after we'd left, they actually had like a final on the Saturday where they had 5 of these running together.
Ooh.
So I think the most we had. So here, what's this? What's the way these things leave? That's the flag boat probably doing 60 mile an hour.
And going backwards.
So these things top out at about 150 mile an hour.
Ooh.
And as per normal, when I got there, I found someone I knew.
Yeah.
From a long time ago, Terry Smith. His family's been in boats a very long time as well. The boat that Terry's involved in was the one that just stopped, and you'll see in a minute where we go and actually have a look at what they're up to, and found out, and effectively it basically dropped the points box off the magneto.
Right.
And had a lost power somehow or other. So they fixed that, and you'll see later where it runs again later on, but it's quite frightening if you imagine sitting there with this thing coming around.
Yes. So I imagine they've got a lot of vision out of that boat, especially.
Capsule. So yeah, and you'll see in a minute when the next lot I think go to leave is inside. They're in a capsule, and then they've actually got a helmet on, and then they've got a oxygen mask as well, a bit like a fighter pilot.
Right.
So 10 years ago they were running boats like this with open cab, just sitting out, no seatbelt.
Yes. Well, I mean, this brings back memories. You know, obviously near where you live here, Canorca and Lake Illawarra, they used to race speedboats off the Canorca Point here, and that was probably 40 years ago, but they weren't going that quick.
So this is the boat that we're talking about here, so Mongoose. So as you can see, look at the size of that screw supercharger sitting on there.
Dear oh me.
And for those that know the supercharger, the smaller that top pulley is, the more boost you're making.
Yep.
And it's pretty small.
Yes.
So you'll see in some of the other, I've tried to get a bit of footage in the way the mechanics work on these boats, but they effectively the shaft runs forward into a V drive and then back out through the bottom. Now this boat is like a show boat. So you see the Phantom graphics on the deck, and have a look at the finish. Absolutely unbelievable. So they're running the alternator and a few pumps and stuff off the front of that shaft.
Looks like Phil Cajean's been there doing the fuel work stuff.
And then massive supercharger.
Wow.
And then the rear wing. And you see they're blown alcohol displacement. Bad boats.
Bad. Capital B. Geez, they presented well.
Oh, beautiful. And the tow rigs and the trailers, everything. So it's a delight to walk around, and as you can see, I've no special permission, I'm just walking around with the camera. So if you go to these events, they're very welcoming for people to get in and have a look at what's going on. Obviously, if you mind your business and don't get in people's way.
Yep. Very impressive.
So you can see there, one's got the hat running one that way, the other's going the other way.
Yep.
Now you see a little outboards in the background there, and there's one comes in from the right here in a minute that just about gets run over by Tuff enough. So they've given him the push, and it's like, well, hang on.
Yep.
So they've got a few classes for these little boats for the juniors, and also there's some oldies who run around in as well, and they're very, very fast.
It powered away, didn't it?
Yeah. Incredible acceleration.
Oh.
So I was learning with the camera a bit here. You'll see a bit of in and out, trying to work out where the best place was.
Yep. A heck of a rooster towing on blind, don't they?
Unbelievable, and they get out of the water pretty well.
Yep.
Once they've done a couple of laps, they do a 3-lap race, that they start to get a bit of wake sort of going through that creates a bit of excitement. So they're going to be on again in January. I'm going to go up and I'm going to try and find someone else with another camera, because you just can't capture all of the stuff you need to see. All the still shots have come out now, and they've got, you know, the whole boat out of the water and all that sort of stuff, and I'm up the wrong end because I wasn't getting that up the set. You see the crowd on the left there, so the hill goes up, and there'll be some footage later that actually shows you everyone with their camp set up.
Excellent.
Into that race. So it was pretty constant all day. I think there was like 45 or 50 events for the day.
Wow.
And it was non-stop besides the lunch break. It was just go, go, go. And you'd be in the pits filming something, and then you'd hear the boats going again. And it was a really, really good. If you're into engines and noise, and you know, it's unbelievable. I was pretty impressed with the way they actually do the whole thing and be able to got distracted now because the ad's on. Dale, I better do the ad.
You better do the ad.
Lovells.com.au. Don't forget, Forbies, drive cars. If you're doing an XW,
if you're towing your boat,
towing a boat,
towing your trailer,
go to lovellsauto.com.au, because Louise keeps telling me you got to remember the AU. Now, Dale, check this out. If you're a Ford man, which you're not, this is, I think, the perfect scenario. So you're looking at obviously a 351 Clevo with a Ram on it.
Yep.
But check out the tow vehicle.
Where's Darren Blackman?
Hey, how cool is that? And then this one here, I did a little reel on Instagram and stuff for this one because it's got the exhaust bubbling in the water.
Yes. It thought it was a boat.
That was my pick for the day. I thought that was pretty cool. So that was probably running in that 6 litre class.
Yep.
And I mean, there's guys that are out there trying to win the chocolates.
Yep.
And there's other guys out having a ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So next time I get up there, I'll try and get a bit of footage of all the classes. But
did you notice the number on the boat, Howard? It was 351.
351. So there was all sorts. There was Chevs, there was Holdens, there was Fords, and then the really top end of the 6 litre side of things is dominated by NASCAR engines.
Yep.
So high revving, big dollar engines. And I don't even know what classes. I'm a bit out of my depth with a lot of this, but I just get really excited about looking at.
You were just sniffing fumes and listening to the big revs
as well, and all the different things that go on, and obviously brings back a lot of family memories as well for me.
Yep.
Fuel injection. So I'm not even going to try and tell you what sort of Chevy it is because I'll probably get it wrong.
The loud one. It's got no muffler.
So they run a couple of speed classes. So I think it was 92 mile an hour, for instance. So you can run anything up to an 8 litre.
Yep.
Engine. But you can't go over 92 mile an hour.
Okay, so a bit like bracket racing and drag racing, whatever.
Yeah, so
set your
it's
ET
all about the handling and the ability to drive and get the start right and all that sort of stuff. And you've got to stay under that mile an hour to race. And then there were some outboard classes as well.
That's a big egg beater on the back of that, isn't it?
And you hear that, the motor running in the background. Yep. It's really cool. You're walking around the pits and someone's just checking the time on or something, and they crank up 1,000 horsepower.
You'll have your neighbour Dave drooling over this, won't he?
Yeah, in all sorts of ways.
In all sorts of ways, exactly.
I sent him a picture actually. There was someone selling a trailer, like an enclosed trailer. So a lot of these guys have got their boats in trailers.
Yep.
And I sent Dave a picture. Look at this trailer, Dave. That's a good shot of the canopy up there.
There is a lot going on there.
Yeah, so the majority of these big boys are obviously all dry sump, and then all different sorts of hats and blowers.
Yep.
You know, there's any amount of different superchargers on it. And I'm guessing at 150 mile an hour, that wing would have a fair bit of function.
Yes. Some impressive tow vehicles.
Yep. So some pretty amazing paintwork on this one. This is one of those 6 litre.
Beautifully presented.
And all these, like the top end of that class, had the canopies. You'll see in a minute when they, the one I think closed up, or I might have had a couple when they're actually coming in or going out from down at the ramp. I spent a lot of my day at the ramp because they fire the they've blown the engines up on the trailer to make sure they're going to run, and then they fire them up to leave. And
did you notice the
how's that for a rig?
exhaust cover was a welding glove with the fingers cut out and a stubby holder? That is a heck of a rig.
Reckless. Now I've got a feeling that I think he might have been the overall winner.
And then we'll be looking for the first heat for the bad boats, race 17, which sees Immortal from 1, Tuff out of 2, and the Mongoose from 3. So those boats.
Here's something different, Dale. So a Ford Barra.
A Barra?
With a big turbo hanging
There you
off
go.
it. So I'm sure it's got plenty of potential, but they're still finding it at the moment. So pretty much all the whole day I was there, you could see it getting up on boost and then getting out of control, and then at the start trying to get away with the right boost and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure they'll get it. That's it there in the water now, actually.
Okay, yep.
So this would be like 4 coming in, 4 going out. So they waited for the guy at the back, which I think was the Barra. So they don't let it go until they virtually get to the boys, and then they're off.
That's some acceleration.
That's incredible, isn't it? Now watch old mate on the left here. He's obviously one of the team guys. Quite often there's guys here with radio, probably talking to the driver, the spotters. Come on.
He's a little animated.
Yeah, he's
great to see the passion.
For it.
He's dealing with that chop in the corner would be something.
So if you listen now, you'll hear this turbo thing coming in now. Watch it come on song. And then it's it's sideways.
Yep. They get up quick, don't they?
Incredible. That's another race run.
There you go.
So I found it really interesting that a lot of the drivers are quite, what I'd class as elderly, or about my age. Maybe about 45 and 50 and up. And I think it's probably a case of a bit like my dad and my brother that have raced all their life, and eventually get to the point where when you're driving one of these, it's a bit out of normality rather than trying to step into one from scratch, you know. I was surprised how well mannered they were when they're coming back in.
Yes.
Better be me in the little number 25 though. So the boat ramp run amazingly well. So there's the road coming down and the 4 will line up here, then they drag the others out and they go up the ramp, and then the next ones are going in, and then the lineup, the next 4 are ready to go.
Yeah, okay, yep.
And they just rotated through.
Yeah,
see
can
the
just
next
see
4
them
there,
there, yep, okay, yep.
So you don't sort of wait with your trailer for the boat to come back, you've got to go back up
Yep.
and then come back down to pick the boat up once you've run your race. So to stand here and just watch blown injected big blocks rolling in and out, and then they're starting them up to clear them, and incredible, great day. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, she'd need to go and check this
with
out.
The canopy and all on it.
Attention to detail, it's impressive.
Beautifully presented, Carl. Amazing. And the rigs as well, and the canopies, and the whole thing. It's obviously what they do. I was actually talking to Terry tonight to get a bit more info, and he was saying that they've been a bit starved with all the things the world's been through, and they haven't had a lot of racing. And he reckons the one in January up there is going to be huge. To be, all of the top big boats will be there.
Either he's a really big man, or it's not that big
a boat
for the size of the engine in it.
It's probably like a 16 footer or something like that. The big boys are probably 20, 21. Like my brother ran a 21 footer.
I got a tinny with a 10 horse. I don't even it's lucky to float.
I was waiting for him to give this a bit of a rev. It's on the light out. Here we go.
Old school, the time of night.
I've seen one of those guys with a NASCAR engine. They floated him out, and he's gone to take off, and it's just snap revved. It just grabbed a massive amount of revs. Didn't have it in gear. One of the boys goes, he hasn't got it in gear. So there we go. So that I was talking to Adrian Monday. One of his mates was up tuning that, so it's twin turbo in the open class.
Right.
And I was talking to Terry today that a lot of these the blown big blocks are now going to more computerisation as well. So that one there's Pro Charger.
All right, yep.
So Louise has done a really good edit again, because I've filmed all the boats in the pits, and then she's tried to line those boats up with the ones that are going out into the race, so you can get a bit of an understanding of what they look like before they run. Flag boat just doing a casual setting on out.
Yeah, she'd be packing it in the flag boat, and those guys are just going a heck of a lot faster.
So when you're standing there and these things are coming at you, it's the adrenaline rush, and the goosebumps, and that's incredible. It's just, I've been to a lot of motorsport, and this is right up there. One guy walked up to me and said, this is not a car meet. Yeah, I know, it's pretty cool, but
doesn't have to be a car to appreciate it.
Don't take much to get them airborne.
No.
that turbo. That's getting away pretty well. That's right up with Reckless. Bit of a crowd shot.
Yeah.
So that's across the front of the pits, and then down the other end is a whole spectator area.
Okay.
And that used to run all the way through, but when the floods went through, it ripped out the centre section and took out half the bloody clubhouse. And that's the Barra. There's 2 turbos running there then.
Chop's giving him a bit of grief, isn't it?
Isn't it ever? Might have to invest in a new lens if I'm going to go and this sort of stuff. No, it's a bit of a challenge.
Fun.
So there's the clubhouse. It's under repair because, like I said, it went underwater.
Yep.
So on the left-hand side there, and for some reason I didn't get a lot of footage down that end, but there's this sort of setup both sides of the clubhouse.
Okay.
So
yep.
this is on the pit side, and the other side is a public bar. You can get yourself a drink and good food. I had the best ham and salad wrap I've had for a long time.
Very good.
It was very good. Now, a couple of oldies, mate. I think I might have mentioned to you, I'm hanging to go up to they have up at St George's, they have a day with all the old boats.
Right, okay.
Yeah, all the retro stuff.
Yep.
So I may
My mate had a boat very similar to this, with a 308 Holden, V8, very much looked like that original one.
Well, this is what I grew up with. So my
Yep.
dad had boats like this, where you had not necessarily a supercharged engine, but in the front was a bench seat.
Yep.
And that's how we ended up breaking a few ribs and ended up with a race boat.
Yes.
But we used to ski behind the race boat with a twin blade prop and all, so it was a bit choppy behind, but that's what we had. So
Yep.
if you want to go for a ski, you went behind the race boat. Open pipes over the deck.
Yep.
This was obviously a brand new restoration. I couldn't find a name on the boat, what hull it was, but very much indicative of that sort of 70s era when we were up the lake all the time.
Is it, they call them, was it a dog clutch? Is that what they called them for the
engage? So it had a
between-
gearbox, it just just bang bang, it was in or out.
Yes, clunk.
Yeah. And the cavitation plate on the back, when you climb into the boat, when you can't ski anymore, you used to whack your shin on the aluminium plate.
Yes.
The things you remember.
Remember that stuff, yes.
And then you just buy a hull if you're looking to get into it.
They got the right name for it, Trouble.
So there you go, Dale. Blown boats.
Excellent. Got to go and check it out.
We're going to do some more, so stay tuned and keep watching the Astor Design channel because you never know what you're going to see next.
You never know.